Hello, I'm Linda Topping-Streitfeld, the Director of Programs for the National Press Foundation, and we're coming to you today from the Evelyn Y. Davis studios. We're here to talk about the importance of journalists understanding finance, economics, and the importance of corporate responsibility. I'm here today with Sudeep Reddy, economics reporter for the Wall Street Journal. He has had a terrific seat over the years from which to watch global and national financial events and how journalists cover them. So welcome.
Thank you.
Sudeep, what would you say is the role of journalists in keeping corporations accountable?
Linda, corporations exist for a lot of reasons. They exist to sell products and services. They exist to make a lot of money for their shareholders. And CEOs exist to ensure that corporations are making a lot of money for their shareholders. We've seen a disconnect over the years between what CEOs are doing and what shareholders often want them to do. Shareholders have been raising at annual meetings through shareholder initiatives a lot of questions about whether a company should be doing things differently, should be looking out for shareholders' interests differently and looking out for the rest of the world differently. And one reason we've actually seen this divide has been executive pay. Executive pay has spiraled in some ways out of control since the 1970s and 1980s. And there's just an exorbitant divide between executive pay and what other executives and what rank and file workers are making today. And this disconnect is really only addressed in one way, and that's by shining a light on what CEOs are doing and how much they're being paid for their performance and for meeting the goals and interests of shareholders. Journalists are the only ones who can shine a light in the way that you need to effect change.
So speaking of how journalists put the news out there, I hear that the Wall Street Journal is building a big new studio for webcasting. What's the thinking there?
The Wall Street Journal realized years ago that the entire world around us has changed. We have moved from focused on producing a daily print newspaper, which is still the largest circulation paper in the country, but what matters more now is how do we transmit what we know, how do we get the news to people far beyond the printed newspaper. And so millions and millions of people every month are coming to the Journal, not through the printed newspaper, but through video, through blogs, through all of these other forms of media. And the Journal has put more emphasis on video, on the web, on putting the news out in these different forms than anything else we've done over the last few years. When I came to the Journal, we were just starting that transition. Now we have new studios, not only in our New York headquarters, but in Washington, in London, in Hong Kong, in bureaus around the world. We have cameras at every location, and we are looking at every step. How do we get the Journal to be far more important than a printed newspaper? Because when you think about it, the web gives you the opportunity to take everything that we have now and to send it to these entirely new audiences so that people can be sitting at home in their living room, sitting at their office desk, and sitting on the subway, accessing the web, accessing video through their smartphones, through their tablets. And in that way, you have actually taken your institution to them. And so now the Wall Street Journal is in your living room, it's in your office, it's in your pocket.
All very, very useful. Thank you so much, Sudeep Reddy of the Wall Street Journal. I'd like to take a quick look back now at some of our recent programs. Thanks to the generosity of Evelyn Y. Davis and the Evelyn Y. Davis Foundation, we've produced several programs this year that have focused on improving the financial literacy of journalists.
It's kind of an art, and if you do it a lot, you get good at it, and you get to the point where you don't want to see the press release until you've read the financial statement, because once you read the financial statement, then you feel like you've got the story and you can go see how the PR guys are spinning it. And they always are.
We've been coming to you live today from the Evelyn Y. Davis studios. Thanks for joining us.